Starts now.
Good evening.
Look who's over here.
He's scared.
You're supposed to be over there.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
I was there this morning. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having us
Seems like
back.
we were just here doing this. Good evening. Welcome to The Works on this Sunday, September 21st. It was a wild and wacky day in the NFL with a lot of photo finishes that didn't include the Lions. They play tomorrow. We're going to talk about that, plus college football as the Wolverines went on the road Saturday afternoon for somewhat of a statement win in the Big Ten opener. But we begin with a story that has captivated the city of Detroit all summer long.
That's a good word.
And now has
Captivated.
left a lot of fans shaking in their shoes, feeling sick. Tigers, who once upon a time had a 12.5 game lead in the Central and a chance to clinch the division at home this week as they began the final homestand of the season. All of that now feels like a distant memory as they lost a 6th straight game Sunday, today. Pick it up. Highlights. 4th inning. Atlanta already on top 1-0 when Hassan Kim takes Casey Mize deep to left and gone. That solo shot made it 2-0 Atlanta. And the Braves weren't finished. Moved to the 5th. Rookie Daniel Baldwin continued to swing a hot bat in this series, driving one to left. Riley Green can't get to it. That would score another one to make it 3-0. Tigers had plenty of chances to make it a game, but they just couldn't deliver. Bottom 5, Spencer Torkelson with runners on the corners, whiffs on a curveball for strike 3. To the 8th, 2 on for pinch hitter Trey Sweeney, and he swings at the first pitch. Pop foul out. Ends the threat. Just nothing going Detroit's way these days. They had 2 runners on base in 6 of the first 8 innings and came up empty. The Braves, meanwhile, blew the game open in the 9th, scoring 3 more runs. Detroit manages to avoid the shutout. Woo! But it was a little too late as the Tigers are swept by the Braves, losing 6 in a row on their final homestand of the year, 6-2, the end result.
I feel like we're trying our best to find solutions and not just complain about what is going on. And today, we gave ourselves so many chances to break through and then couldn't quite hold the strike zone when we needed it the most. And they chipped away and came up with some big swings. So it's rough going, but we have the most important road trip of the season staring us right in the face.
Keep showing up to the yard every single day and finding ways to win the day. I mean, that's really it. I mean, there's no secret sauce. It's switch your batting gloves up, switch your cleats, but change of scenery is good. But no, we're gonna have to, lock it in.
Oh, speaking of secret sauce, the Guardians have found it. They could have pulled even with the Tigers in the Central today if they beat the Twins. Cleveland up 2-1 in the 6th, not for long. Brooks Lee, man on, there it goes, way out and gone. 3-2 Twins after that. And then they add some insurance in the 7th. 2 on this time for Royce Lewis, and this baseball ain't coming back either. 3-run blast. Minnesota helps Detroit out a bit by taking down Cleveland 6-2. The final. All right, time now.
Minnesota.
Yeah, the
Formal introduction.
Oh, yeah. How are you there, Hammer?
Hi, Robert
sounded very
Wojnowski.
foreboding.
Formal introduction. Oh, introduce me again.
Robert Wojnowski. Woohoo! Playing third for your Detroit Tigers because no one else apparently can.
You said it, not me.
And my friend Will Burchfield. All right, guys, this is really scary. They had a 10-game cushion 17 days ago. They were once 24 games over 500. They've led the division since April 23rd, and now they have just a 1-game lead. Where do we go with what we've seen this week from this team?
Well, it's very easy, and it feels the right thing to do, is to be in full-out panic. They're completely collapsing. It's historic. It's awful. It's terrible. And that's the initial reaction, because that's what we've seen. And then you have to take a deep breath, and the Twins did win, and you go, well, they are headed to Cleveland, and they are in first place, and they are going to pitch Tarek Skubal on Tuesday night in Cleveland. So, yeah, you can be annoyed and disgusted by the way they played, but somehow they're not out of it, and you got hope.
Will, A.J. Hinch said it yesterday, and I believe you drove a lot of the questioning, excellent reporting and questioning in that post-game press conference room. And never mind, you're done talking for now. A.J. Hinch said it best. We control our own destiny. guess what a team down in Cleveland thinks? They control their own destiny too, Will.
Yeah, when AJ said the truth is only one team controls our destiny, I thought he was going to say Cleveland. Because that's the way it feels right now. And they say history has a way of repeating itself. Well, last year on August 10th, the Tigers had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, and they defied all odds and got there.
Yeah.
This year on August 30th, they had a 0.2% chance of missing the playoffs and are now threatening to defy the odds again. It feels like they made a deal with the devil last year, and they have to pay it back a year later. It is staggering how quickly, how suddenly, and how dramatically they have fallen from one of the best teams in baseball to now one that can't get out of its own way.
And a damn good story, too. Man, they were so much fun. All-Star game, let me give you some numbers. Riley Green, before the break, $2.92, 2.12 cents. Zach McKinstry, $2.85 before the break, 2.03 cents. Glaber, $2.77, 2.27 cents. And then Javi Baez, 208 since the All-Star break. He was batting .289 going into that stretch. A lot of people want to point fingers a lot of different places, and there's a lot of blame to go around. Where do you start, Bob?
Well, obviously it starts at the very top. And if you want to go back to the trade deadline, we're going to have to at some point when the Tigers didn't really add anybody of any consequence other than Finnegan. But I don't even think you have to go back that far, because the players are accountable for their own numbers, and they have fallen off horrifically. But even worse than those averages, they're not hitting in the clutch at all. 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position today. And I feel like that's the thing they can't. Their pitching, actually, in the last week or so has been okay. It's been fine. The starts have been okay. Bullpen blew up a couple of times. The hitting has fallen off the cliff, and that's what's going to haunt them more so than giving up an elite prospect. What's going to haunt them, I'm afraid, is their feeble lineup.
When you leave 42 runners on base in a homestand, the final homestand of the season,
42?
when you can actually make some noise towards winning the division for the first time since 2014, Will, how is a team like that even going to survive if they get to the wild card or to the postseason, which now feels a little like maybe they don't even get there?
Yeah, I mean, you hope that they decompress and take a breath tomorrow with the off day and try and find the fortitude they need Tuesday in Cleveland. But I thought A.J. Hinch said it well today after the game, and said it honestly, that it's easy to say this team is pressing and trying to do too much. When you watch their at-bats in big spots, that's when they expand the zone. And Spencer Strider has great stuff, but he didn't have great command today. And it seemed like every time the Tigers came up with runners on base and he was spraying the ball, they were spraying the zone. And all of a sudden, when they should have been in 2-0 counts or 3-1 counts, they were in 1-2 counts and then striking out. And that is the sign of a team that in those clutch, gotta have it situations is feeling the weight, feeling the strain of what is a collapse right now.
And the inclination, and I totally get it. Fans, we listen to them on the radio, talk to them on the radio, very angry. Although a lot of people still, you go to these games, they're still cheering there in the 9th inning when they scored 2 runs today to make it 6-2. So the inclination, though, is to say they're done. But baseball, when the second season starts in base, strange things happen. We've seen it happen in favor of the Tigers in 06, and then against the Tigers when the Cardinals, with not a very good team, beat them in the World Series. So get the angst out of your system and then watch what should be 3 tight, tense games in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was in Minnesota. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and most likely 3 tight, tense games in Boston. I mean, that might end up being a do-or-die series at Fenway Park between 2 teams that could be fighting for one of, if not the final AL wildcard spot if the Tigers don't take care of business in Cleveland. So when A.J. Hinch says the biggest road trip of the season, it is in every possible way and every possible game.
We will see what this team is made of over the next 6. All right, another team that we're looking forward to seeing what they're made of will play tomorrow night. We have to wait another day to see the Lions kick off in their matchup against the Ravens on Monday Night Football, and this is going to be a great one. 2 of the top 3 scoring offenses squaring off under the bright lights of a national audience in Charm City with some of the best talent in the league going head-to-head in a raucous environment. I know that Woj will be drinking his gin, will be drinking his beer, we'll be eating popcorn, but Dan Campbell looking forward to seeing it as well.
I think you just always want to prove your worth no matter who you're playing, and this one happens to be against an outstanding opponent. These guys are in it every year. You know, they've been that way for years. Coach Harbaugh's done an unbelievable job, and it's in prime time, man. And so it's just the perfect storm. And you know, you find out where you're at. You find out where you're at a little bit, and that's a good thing. But anytime you got a chance to go compete and you get to play against the best of the best, man, I mean, this is why you do it. I bring that up again. This is why you do it. This is why. That's why this league is special, man, because it's top tier freaking competition, and it's fun.
All right, so here we are back at the round table with you two. This is a big one. It's a measuring stick kind of early in the season.
And Campbell said it correctly, and they haven't shied from it. They haven't even said, you know, oh, just another game. You know, it is a measure. Even Goff talked about how the Ravens have handled them in the past. So it is a chance, and I said this morning on our little show, that the Lions should be at the big boy table in the NFL, where they've been for a while. But right now, I only see 4 teams there. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. The Lions can get their seat there if they beat the Ravens, and I think I'm positive they're going to be much better equipped to handle them than they were 2 years ago, 38-6. I'm not positive, though, that they're going to win it.
You've got the 0-2 Chiefs, the big boy table?
Yeah, right.
The winless Chiefs?
They still have
2 games in!
Will Baltimore, number 1 scoring offense, number 25 scoring defense. Detroit, number 3 scoring offense, number 22 scoring defense.
2 games in.
This is going to be 2 games in, granted. This is going to be a shootout in your mind. Can Detroit keep pace?
I think it kind of has to be a shootout for the Lions to have a chance. I think that's their best avenue towards winning this game. And look, for all of the heat that was on the defense last time they went down there when they gave up touchdowns on 4 straight drives to begin the game, the offense on 7 straight drives to begin that game either went 3 and out or turned the ball over. And so they have a script to flip themselves. And look, I think this offensive line grew up in a big way last week, especially in pass protection. And if Jared ends up having to drop back on Monday night 30 or 40 times, you hope not, but if he does, you should feel better about the way they can hold up, especially in the middle with essentially 2 rookies in Mahogany and Ratledge.
But let's see how they do against the noise in Baltimore.
Right, and I was going to say, and how much did John Morton learn from that first loss at Green Bay with what to call, what to do, how to maybe simplify a little bit?
Correct. I think they probably have figured out how to handle the communication issues, because it wasn't just Goff getting the calls to anybody else. It was Decker and Tate Ratledge and Graham Glasgow, the new center. So I think, but again, until you get in, and every one of these stadiums is quote unquote the loudest stadium, it seems like, especially on Monday Night Football, it's a huge challenge.
What is it going to be like to see this team try to control? I mean, that's a 2-headed monster between Lamar and Derrick Henry. Obviously, bread and butter for the Lions is stop the run.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry is a tractor. I mean, they call him El Tractorcito. I mean, he is a load,
a monster
to bring down. And I said it this morning on the pregame show, but I'll go back to it. The target for me is 90. When Derrick Henry rushed for over 90 yards last year, the Ravens were 11-0. When he was held under 90, they were 2-6. And look, to stop him, you have to commit extra resources to the box, which is going to leave those corners and Terrion and DJ and maybe even Amik on islands. And DJ and Terrion will be the first to tell you in coverage they have not played well enough through 2 games. And there's going to be a bright one shined on them tomorrow. They have to step up to help this defense slow down this explosive offense.
Quick predictions here for people who may have missed our intelligence this morning as we waxed on there. 7 games today decided in the final 2.5 minutes. Is this going to be a tight one that comes down to a field goal?
I think it'll be a touchdown or less. I mean, the NFL is just notorious for this. Today was beyond the realm. Blocked field goals and everything else. I think it's going to be like a 6 or 7 point game. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as I think the Lions are going to try to run the ball and control the clock a little bit.
10 seconds, Will. Final thoughts.
I do think this is a close game. I think it's a back and forth game. I think it might come down to which team has the ball last. I think the Lions cover. We'll see if they win.
I'm going to give him 5 more seconds. All right, Lamar Jackson, 26-4 against the NFC. in 30 games. All right, we're going to be back on the other side of the break. These two are staying with me.
We are?
Do your little thing. Do your little thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk some college football.
Not a
Michigan with a big win on the
trained
road, and then MSU. They played too. All right, stick with us.
Narrative going around that we can't win on the road. And that was a statement. And a little bit of a narrative like, hey, if it's a really lively, hard place to play, we kind of, we're not finishing those games. And I think a lot of that was a statement today.
Frustrated? I mean, this means something to them. I mean, so going there, there's some guys with frustrations, felt like, again, we could do some more things, so they put a lot into this. And so immediately after games, there's some frustration. I do think they're together with it, but I appreciate it. They're competitive and, yeah, they're frustrated.
All right, there you are. Two different takes after two very different games. Let's start with the Michigan Wolverines. I just want to say this. All rise for Biff Poggi, who said he's going home for some Haagen-Dazs coffee, ice cream, and a Cuban. That is my kind of
then
man.
the hospital, I think he said.
He did say the hospital.
Have a Haagen-Dazs, maybe a cigarette, and then go to the hospital.
Cuban.
Cuban.
Sorry,
Cuban.
yes, you're right. You're
Not
right.
a cigarette, a Cuban. But Bob, just quickly, how much of a statement game was that on the road, the way they just ran down Nebraska's
A bit of a
throat?
statement, and Michigan is now 8-0 in interim coach games. They need to keep doing that, apparently. But
self-imposed.
No, that's the one thing, and the reason I think it's an impressive win, and they're 3-1, is because they're winning right now without it being the superstar freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, Bryce Underwood. Well, of course you're going to start. No, they're doing it the way they've always done it, with a tremendous defensive front and a tremendous running game. And Justice Haynes, he's probably going to climb in, dare I say, the Heisman talk. I think he leads the nation in rushing. And Underwood was fine. He hasn't made the big mistakes. He used his legs to keep it going at the end of the game to kill the clock. In that regard, the final score maybe wasn't overly impressive. You shouldn't give up Hail Mary touchdowns. And they had a lot of mistakes. But impressive the way they did it, which is the way they always do it, with running the ball and defense.
Certainly the season is long and there's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten, Will, but how much do you think that maybe Michigan does have a chance to be one of the teams at the top? I don't think we talked about that enough going into this season.
If they can follow yesterday's recipe, I think they do have a chance. A stout rushing attack and a strong pass rush can take you really far, as Michigan has shown in the recent past. And they've discovered both here through 4 games. 7 sacks yesterday from 7 different players, from edge rushers, from linebackers, from interior defensive linemen. And then Haynes and Marshall both averaged almost 10 yards a carry. And I think Haynes is first in the Big Ten in rushing, third in the country. Right. So let's slow down the Heisman talk there, fella.
But only had 179 yesterday.
But no, I think the offensive line, which was somewhat of a question mark entering the year, still has some work to do in pass protection, but they are run blocking the way they did under Jim Harbaugh, and that's a really good sign.
Oh no, they definitely had work to do, and they still do.
Yeah.
But I think you've only started barely the surface of what Bryce Underwood you think can do.
Yeah.
They'll start peeling more and more layers of that off, and if they can survive while he gets experience, they're in good shape.
All right, we have 1 minute to quickly touch on the Spartans. Growing up as a Big Ten kid watching college football, USC was a team I always wanted to see the Big Ten teams beat up on.
Oh, yeah, right. They always did.
It makes sense. I mean, they kind of hung with them. Is that enough for the Spartans to go on the road and do that?
They did hang with them, and it was down to a one-score game in the third quarter, 45-31 final. But Michigan State just does not have enough players on defense. They do have some weapons on offense, and that's how they hung with them, and they have some good receivers, but the defense it's getting decimated too.
Yeah, and I think it was discouraging for them, maybe even demoralizing, because they thought they had a run defense. They did, based on the season's first 3 games. Then they went in yesterday and gave up almost 300 yards on the ground, gave up 10 runs of 10-plus yards, and were gashed on the ground all day long. They just lack playmakers, especially on that side of the ball. A lot of work still to do for Jonathan Smith.
Well, I do think if you are a Spartan fan, you want to take a positive. Aiden Childs continues to progress.
Yeah, he does.
I think that's something that you can at least hang your hat on.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Bob, thank you.
We can go home now.
Yes, I hope I don't see you tomorrow.
We have another show to do? Where?
Today,
When?
not tomorrow. All right, stick with us. Coming back, we've got more on the other side of the break, including the entire day in the NFL. All right, to the NFL, where there was a full day of surprises and walk-offs, comebacks, first wins, and runbacks, with 7 games decided in the final 2.5 minutes. It all contributed to a wacky and wild Sunday fun day around the league.
Joshua Carty has it blocked again! This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on!
Oh, it's blocked! Field goal attempt is blocked! Scooped up and will be taken all the way for a Jets touchdown! Will McDonald is for the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle. On the right hash, Daniel Whelan the hold. The kick is blocked. It is blocked. The Browns get the swat. Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good.
And win the game with his leg. Sweeps it, delivers it, and San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn.
We cap things off with a bit less drama as the Bears hosted the Cowboys, all of Chicago in this one. Big day for Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, second quarter. He slings it to a wide open Cole Kmet in the back of the end zone, 24-14. Bears defense also stepped up big, picked off Dak Prescott twice, including this one in the end zone in the fourth quarter to put it away. Jerry didn't like it, but Ben Johnson did as he gets his first dub in Chicago as the head coach, 31-14 the final. After the game, Young actually gave credit to his I'm not reading that. All right, that's our show. Thanks to Matt Trump for his efforts and to you for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Have a great night.